The Northwest Passage connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through the Arctic. For centuries, explorers dreamed of this shortcut. Famous explorers like Sir John Franklin and Roald Amundsen tried to navigate it. Many expeditions ended in tragedy. It represents the human spirit of exploration. Amundsen's success in 1906 was monumental. The passage remained mostly impassable for commercial ships. Climate change is making the Northwest Passage more accessible. Climate change is having a profound impact on the Arctic region. As global temperatures rise, the Arctic is warming at approximately twice the rate of the rest of the planet. This phenomenon, known as Arctic amplification, is causing a dramatic reduction in sea ice. Over the past few decades, we've seen a significant decrease in both the extent and thickness of Arctic ice. Satellite data from NASA and other agencies show that the summer sea ice minimum has been declining at a rate of about 13% per decade since the late 1970s. This melting ice is what makes the Northwest Passage increasingly navigable. In the past, the passage was only open for a few weeks each year, if at all. Now, ships can navigate these waters from July to October, providing a potential shortcut between Europe and Asia that can save thousands of miles compared to traditional routes through the Suez or Panama Canals. This increased navigability presents both opportunities and challenges for global shipping. On one hand, shorter routes mean reduced travel times and lower fuel consumption, which can significantly cut costs for shipping companies. On the other hand, navigating these icy waters still requires specialized ships and expertise. While the potential for a shorter route is enticing, it's not without risks. The Arctic environment is harsh and unpredictable. Icebergs, extreme weather, and limited search and rescue capabilities make it a challenging and dangerous route. Beyond the logistical considerations, the opening of the Northwest Passage has profound environmental and geopolitical implications. Increased shipping traffic poses a threat to the fragile Arctic ecosystem, home to species like polar bears, seals, and walruses. The risk of oil spills and other environmental hazards is a major concern. Geopolitically, the melting ice is reshaping national interests in the Arctic. Nations like Canada, Russia, and the United States are vying for control and influence over these newly accessible waters. This has led to disputes over sovereignty and navigation rights, with significant implications for international relations. Navigating this new frontier requires a careful balance between harnessing its economic potential and protecting our planet. The Northwest Passage now has an extended navigation season. Traditionally, it was open for only a few weeks. Now ships can navigate for several months. This is due to reduced ice thickness. Thinner ice means less power is needed to break through, making the journey less risky and more feasible. However, thinner ice can be unpredictable and dangerous. Icebergs and floating debris pose hazards to navigation. The extended season and reduced ice thickness are changing Arctic shipping dynamics. The melting ice of the Arctic is not just transforming the landscape, it's also reshaping global geopolitics. The opening of the Northwest Passage as a viable shipping route has profound implications for national sovereignty, international relations, and global trade. One of the most immediate geopolitical challenges posed by the Northwest Passage is the question of sovereignty and control. Canada claims the Northwest Passage as part of its internal waters, granting it full control over who can navigate these waters. However, other nations, including the United States and European countries, argue that it should be considered an international strait, allowing free passage for all. This dispute is more than just a legal technicality. Control over the Northwest Passage means control over a critical maritime route, with significant economic and strategic implications. The legal status of the Northwest Passage is a complex issue involving international maritime law, national interests, and geopolitical strategy. Resolving this dispute will require careful diplomacy and international cooperation. The Arctic is rich in natural resources, including oil, gas, and minerals. As the ice melts, these resources become more accessible, attracting interest from Arctic and non-Arctic nations alike. Russia, for example, has been aggressively pursuing Arctic resource development. building new infrastructure and expanding its military presence to protect its interests. Other countries, including the United States, Canada, and Norway, are also keen to exploit these resources, leading to potential conflicts over territorial claims and resource rights. The race for Arctic resources is intensifying, driven by the promise of untapped wealth and the strategic importance of controlling these assets. However, this also raises significant environmental and geopolitical risks. The strategic importance of the Arctic is prompting nations to increase their military presence in the region. This includes building new bases, deploying icebreakers, and conducting joint military exercises. Russia has been particularly active, reopening old Soviet-era bases and launching new military installations to assert its dominance in the Arctic. The United States, Canada, and other NATO allies are responding by enhancing their own Arctic capabilities, leading to a new era of military competition in the region. The militarization of the Arctic is a concerning trend, with the potential for increased tensions and conflict. Ensuring the region remains a zone of peaceful cooperation will require robust international agreements and confidence-building measures. Amid these challenges, international cooperation remains crucial. The Arctic Council, comprising 8 Arctic nations, plays a key role in promoting sustainable development and environmental protection in the region. International treaties, such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, provide a legal framework for resolving disputes and managing resources. But as the geopolitical stakes rise, the need for new agreements and stronger international cooperation becomes more pressing. The future of the Northwest Passage depends on international cooperation and sustainability. Countries and organizations must work together to manage the challenges and opportunities presented by this new shipping route. This includes developing regulations to protect the environment and ensuring safe navigation. One of the key areas of focus is the development of sustainable shipping practices. This includes using cleaner fuels, reducing emissions, and adopting new technologies. Research and innovation are essential to minimize the environmental impact of shipping in the Arctic. International cooperation is also crucial for managing territorial disputes and resource exploitation. Countries need to negotiate agreements and establish clear rules for the use of the Northwest Passage. This can help prevent conflicts and promote peaceful cooperation. The future outlook for the Northwest Passage is both promising and challenging. It offers new opportunities for global trade and economic development. However, it also requires careful management to protect the Arctic environment and ensure sustainable use of resources. Traditionally, ships traveling between Europe and Asia had to take longer routes through the Panama or Suez canals. The Northwest Passage can significantly reduce travel time and fuel consumption. For instance, a journey from Tokyo to London through the Northwest Passage can be up to 40% shorter than the route through the Panama Canal, saving both time and fuel costs. This could transform global shipping logistics, making international trade more efficient. The economic benefits of a navigable Northwest Passage are substantial. Reduced travel times and fuel costs can lead to lower shipping expenses, potentially lowering the cost of goods globally. Additionally, the Arctic is rich in natural resources such as oil, gas, and minerals, offering significant extraction opportunities. However, these economic opportunities come with significant environmental challenges. The Arctic is a fragile ecosystem, home to unique species like polar bears, seals, and narwhals. Increased human activity and shipping traffic pose risks to this delicate environment. The risk of oil spills, pollution, and habitat disruption is high. The Arctic environment is particularly sensitive to disturbances, and any damage can have long-lasting impacts. Protecting this pristine environment is crucial. The Arctic's ecosystem is incredibly sensitive. Increased shipping traffic and resource extraction activities can lead to significant environmental degradation. It's essential to implement stringent environmental regulations and monitoring to mitigate these risks. The strategic importance of the Northwest Passage also brings security concerns. Nations are increasing their military presence in the Arctic, leading to a potential arms race in the region. Ensuring the Arctic remains a zone of peace requires careful management and international cooperation. The future of the Northwest Passage hinges on our ability to balance economic benefits with environmental protection and security. International cooperation is essential to navigate these challenges and opportunities effectively.